All right. You know, I couldn't wait to get on the air tonight. I could not wait to get on the air tonight. Why? Well, first of all, it's Monday. It is Monday. It is the first day, or I should say, the first week of August. Yes. Yes, it is. Anyway, let me get on with it. My name is Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello to the class, well, all the classes of South Shore High School. Thank you for the hospitality on Saturday. I had a ball playing house music, just doing something that I normally don't do. It's like people pigeonhole me. They said, "Oh, all he knows how to play is the slow jam." Like, oh, I fooled him on Saturday. I had him up and dancing in the park. Of course, I didn't make a dime doing it. I'm like, man, I should have, I should have pulled out my tip jar and got a little money. If I had just gotten $1 from everybody who was there, I would have been straight. But I ain't gonna complain because I'm just not gonna complain. I had a ball. Some of the young ladies, they fed me. They gave me plates. I had food. I said, can I just get a hot dog? Somebody brought me 2 hot dogs, a plate of spaghetti. What else was on the plate? I don't know. I just took the plates and left and walked my 5 minutes back to my parking space. Anyway, thank you so much, Brother Shannon and everybody else who was on the team of the South Shore All Class Reunion on Saturday at Rainbow Beach. I had a ball. Thank you so much. The weather was fantastic. Anyway, with that out of the way, hello to Barbara Jean. Thank you so much for checking in and being the first person to check in on Bedtime Stories on Facebook. What else can I tell you? Oh, I got more to tell you. The Kiki Wyatt concert is sold out. I cannot believe it. It is sold out. And it's all because of you guys listening and, of course, participating. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let's kick it off run one time. That is. Here's T Connection. And you got the best of my love on Bedtime Stories. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-mm. Barbara Jean. So, Barbara Jean, they closed down the Walgreens by my house on 63rd and Union, which is where I bought my um, Arizona green iced tea or green tea. So there's a liquor store around my house, and the liquor store sells, you guessed it, they sell the Arizona green tea. They have the watermelon. They have the what is it? The tonic, of course, the green tea, and I think one other one. So they got all four of them. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just get them from the liquor store. Although I'm really, really upset that they closed. Yeah, they're the same price, like $4 a piece. But I'm really upset that they closed the Walgreens by my house. I'm like, really? So they closed the one on 63rd. There's another one that they closed, but the one on 75th and State Street is still open, which used to be open 24 hours a day. They closed at midnight now. I'm like, oh man. But I know where to get my tea, so I'm good. I ain't complaining. You know, I'm not complaining at all. And you, $4, yeah. So you know I got two of them, right? 47 and Ashland too. You know, they're closing the dollar stores. They're closing the Walgreens, and some neighborhoods they're closing CVS. I'm like, really? Let me call this person here. Yep, that much for the bottles. Yeah, $4, like four and some change. So Dollar Tree, how much are they at Dollar Tree though? Hey, Al. So you just ghosted me on Saturday, huh? No. So when you got upset, I didn't know what you went over with my class. You went to South Shore?
Yes, I graduated in '96.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I was with my class. I took pictures. You ain't see the pictures I posted?
No.
Yeah, I posted all the pictures on Facebook. We took pictures and everything. We ate good. And you got off stage. They didn't even want to hear that other guy no more. They want to keep hearing the house music. That's what they said. It's like, you do that thing. We want to hear the house music. I'm like, I was jamming what?
He kept cutting the music off.
Yeah,
He would play a song. He'd play like 3 minutes of the song and cut it off.
Yeah, but you know, people be jealous of your name. Your name ring bells out here in the streets with this music.
Wow.
Yeah, so that be jealousy, low key. You got to take that with a grain of salt and keep it pushing, because he should have let you play for at least 2 hours, because we was dancing back there and everything.
But I was only supposed to play for half an hour. I was only supposed to play from 2 to 2:30, and then the guy that I relieved, he showed me a different schedule. I'm like, no, they didn't tell me I was supposed to spend for a whole hour. So I was supposed to go from 2 to, I guess, 3:30. I'm like, I'm not doing that. They had already got me out here for free, and they didn't want me to DJ for a whole hour. I said, so I DJed to 3:20. He got back on, and that's when, he started messing up.
What they told you to do, he was back there jamming with that old school house music. Yeah.
That was the whole idea. The whole idea was me to put my foot in it. And anybody that followed me, they had to stumble.
Yeah. I was back there bragging on telling everybody how much I knew you and all of that. So they was like, I showed pictures of you giving me my award and all of that. We had a good time. It was a good turnout this year.
Yeah.
Because last year they had, or the year before last year, they had DJ Ron Carroll DJ. He was just with all that up north technical music. You gotta play for your crowd.
And that's just it. Ron and I went to the South Shore together. And Ron plays that techno. And I don't do that. I do old school house. I do disco.
Yeah, the real shit.
Yeah. I don't do that technical stuff that they don't know. Because we didn't graduate. We didn't listen to that. We listened to, what they call deep house.
Yeah.
So, what you doing?
Nothing, shit. Now, what you got going on?
I'm about to put you on in about 2 minutes. I just started my second song, so I'm gonna put you on.
Okay.
So you can brag about me. Hold on. In paradise. DJ Carl Dobbins, what's going on, sir? I know. Put my glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing. DJ Carl Dobbins. I got you. T Connection and paradise right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Saying hello to DJ Carl Dobbins. Barbara Jean, where are you getting your iced tea from for $1.25? You said Dollar Tree? They sell it for $1.20. Oh, I'm going to the wrong place. But anyway, um, Carl Dobbins wants to know how my house debut was. I don't even have to say anything. Z Truth, are you there? Z Truth, of course, does a show here on Biggs Radio, which we're not on yet until after the boss lady finishes her show. You're on what days? Z Truth, check him out. All right. And here's something I didn't know. We went to the same high school together. So how did I do on Saturday? Now, I didn't pay him to say this. So tell me what you thought. Yes. Really? Well, thank you. Thank you. Z Truth, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't have to pay him to say that. That is, of course, uncoerced. So no shade on the other DJ. I forgot his name though. He'll probably call me later on. But no shade on him because he did a great job before I got there. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A uncoerced, I guess, I guess you say it's an endorsement. Thank you very much. I didn't have to pay him to say that. Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, no, thank you. Z Truth, ladies and gentlemen. Check him out. Z Truth Unfiltered on Biggs Radio on what day? All right. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for the water. He gave me 2 bottles of water, one big bottle, and then a little bottle, which was frozen. And I appreciate that. That got me started. You know how I get a big bottle of water. I stopped at the local gas station to get water for you. And then when I was in the park, I was on the water. I'm like, let me get this too. And once again, thank you so much, Zach. I appreciate it. Z Truth, ladies and gentlemen. Chi-Town's Turn Up Kid, the sexiest voice in radio. I'll talk to you later, man. I'm coming to get my speakers this week. I've been bugging him about these speakers, right? I know he's not going to part with them. I ain't mad at you. I got another set, though. But you know, if you want to donate those or let me use them, I appreciate it. Okay. I'll talk with you soon, man. Take care. Zachary Cooper, aka Z Truth, right here on Bedtime Stories. So there you go, DJ Carl Dobbins. I didn't even have to say how I did. So he told you all what he thought that I did. So I hope I did a good job. Class of all classes of South Shore High School The reunion was this past Saturday in Rainbow Beach. I will see you guys on Sunday at Norman's Bistro, which is also located in Rainbow Beach, along with DJ Emmanuel. His birthday party, I think this is part 2 or 3 or whatever. Quincy Jones and Company. This is Heaven's Girl on Bedtime Story. DJ Carl Dobbin. DJ Carl Dobbin. So let me tell you the story about the speakers that I got. A few years ago, I put some speakers in the shop. They were a pair of Mackie powered speakers, big, heavy, clunky type speakers. So I didn't think anything of them. So I left them in the shop for quite a while. They'd been fixed. And I called the guy. He said, "Oh, well, you know, I moved locations." I said, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh, I hope so." So I went to pick up the speakers 2 weeks ago. Jimmy Williams, the T-shirt man. So I went to pick him up, and you know, he helped me, you know, put them in the car and everything else. I got a few feet away from the place. It's his studio / where he teaches drum. He has drum lessons, and he's got a whole studio in there and everything. Something told me to pull over, and I looked at the speakers. I'm like, these are not my speakers, but they look like them. So when Mackie did these speakers, they did 2 versions of them. They did a powered version and they did a non-powered version. Well, he gave me the wrong ones. He gave me the non-powered speakers, which I didn't care. He gave me the speakers. They look like them. I just went ahead and said, okay, well, I got an amp, you know, and so that's it. Yes, sir. I'm on now. He's on until 10 o'clock. You have to wait till 10 or either that or go to my page, WOSDradio.com on TuneIn. Okay. So he gave me the wrong speakers, but I didn't trip because they look like the ones that I had. And I'm like, no big deal. So I got my other smaller Mackies, and I'm good. Once again, the Kiki Wyatt show has been sold out for this weekend. So August 9th, there are no more tickets available. I was like, check that out. So I am happy to have had a part of that. Last time I sold out a spot, you know, a place, an event using my station was for, I think it was for Slade. And they said there were no more tickets left. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I'm happy. It's the power of radio. It is the power of radio. So I was like, wow. I got a message today. We sold out. There are no more tickets. Because a couple of weeks ago, they were like, oh, man, are we going to be able to, but they sold out at the last minute. And that's usually what happens. Um, that's usually what happens. People wait till the last minute and bought tickets. But the fact that I guess we had Gerald Damien on Wednesday of last week. So I guess that probably made the difference. I'm just saying, maybe that did the difference. That made the difference, I should say. So I was like, okay. So like I said, I got the message this morning that they sold out of the tickets for Kiki Wyatt and Gerald Damien on Saturday at the Odyssey, Giorgio's banquets out in Orland Park. So I'm cool. I'm cool with that. It goes to show you that people are listening, even though we're not a local station. It's like people are listening all over, not just in Chicago, but Dalton, Ford Heights, Park Forest, all of the suburbs. So yeah. In a row from the great Quincy Jones, I'm Gonna Miss You in the Morning, from the album Sounds and Stuff Like That, which of course is the same album that we use our theme song, Just Tell Me a Bedtime Story, written by the great Herbie Hancock, who's from right here in Chicago. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, thank you to Zachary Cooper, aka Z Truth. See, I didn't have to coerce him into uh, that little endorsement. So I just put that out there. Let him do it. I can blow my own horn all I want to, but when somebody else does it, it's even better. So, what's up to Jimmy Williams, the T-shirt man, DJ Carl Dobbins, and Barbara Jean, who says she gets her green tea for $1.25 a bottle at Dollar Tree? I've been cheated. I'm paying $4 for it. I'm like, all right, let me find me a Dollar Tree and get my green tea, because I love that green tea. Shout out to the makers of Arizona iced tea. They have like different flavors and everything else. Maybe if I say them enough, maybe in the morning I'll see a whole bunch of bottles on my front porch. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Story, the show designed with the love, where we put you to bed but never to sleep. The greatest love songs of all time, like this one from the maestro for Jimmy Wood. So this hits home. Shannon Sharp and what's his name? Ocho Cinco were slapped with a lawsuit. The co-hosts have been sued $20 million by Jimalita Tillman, a woman from Chicago who went viral after a flirty moment with Usher at one of his concerts in April. Tillman said to be suing Sharp, said his Nightcap podcast with co-host Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, no relation to Syl Johnson, Selena Johnson, yeah, none of them. And Shay Shay Media alleged that the host knowingly peddled a false narrative about her marital status. Her steamy interaction with Usher caused a stir on social media at the time, with fans picking up on the intensity between them at a concert. Though, despite her claims she is not married, Shannon Sharp and Johnson joked that Tillman's husband was divorcing her on the back of the viral clip. I am personal friends with Jimalita Tillman, who is the daughter of Dorothy Tillman and the mother of Dorothy Genius Tillman, as they call her. So she is not married. And she can sue me for saying this, but I've kissed her several times, and at no time, we're like brother and sister. Let me put it out there like that. Her mom, of course, former Alderman Dorothy Tillman. I used to produce her show at WVON. So every now and then she would be down there Saturday mornings. And, she is, like I said, my sister from another mister. We could have, but we didn't, and that was cool because I respect her. Yes, I'm smoking tonight, and that whole thing with Usher. She was there wherever he was performing, and it looked like more of what it really was. She really never, it was an act, It was an act. It was a whole act. And that was it. It was an act for the public. She could have kissed him. She could have did this. She could have done that. Shout out to Jimalita Tillman. She's a good kisser. Like I said, we're like brother and sister. So, but when it comes to business like that, in other words, putting her business out there that she was married. I've never known her. If she was married, she never said anything to me. Because every time I saw her, we were, like, hey, brother, hey, sis, hey, and we, So yeah, so she's suing for defamation of character, $20 million. I'm like, okay, Can you say renovations on the Harold Washington Cultural Center? Yeah. Sounds like she'll be calling me soon to put a new sound system in the theater. As she always says, see you at the theater. Does anyone really care? Not really. But the thing was that, you know, it is what it is. You know, people cannot assume things about other people. Does anybody care? Not really. It's not a it's more of a big deal to her because they did not know her personally. You know, I can say whatever because I know her personally. I got a phone right here. I got a number in my phone. But I don't, you know, when her daughter was on and, you know, she had homeschooled her daughter and our daughter got a degree and everything else, I congratulated her, you know. The following Saturday when I was still working at WVON, you know, her daughter came down there, you know, and you know, it is what it is. We're all a big family. Dorothy Tillman gave me a hat that she had received, and it was a cowboy hat, which was owned by none other than Herb Kent. So she said, I'm gonna bring this hat down there. I'm gonna bring this hat. I'm gonna bring this hat. Not a brother-sister relationship. No, we don't have a relationship. We are, like I said, it's not. It is what it is. You know, she is my sister from another mister. When we see each other, you know, we hug, we kiss, but it's nothing sexual. You know, and you know we laugh and joke and tease each other, and that's it. You know, it is what it is. You know, I know her mom, I know her sisters, you know, and that's it. It's not as if she's known by millions of people worldwide. And no, she isn't. You know, her mother's the, I guess, quote unquote, the star of that family because she's a former alderman, known here in Chicago as the hat lady, because she's always wearing a hat. She actually has hair under that hat. So.
Greer with Bedtime series.
So you know, it is what it is. She's not known by millions of people. That video went viral with her and Usher, and that's about it. But that's her claim to fame is the director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center here in Chicago on 47th Street, which is in the same spot as the Regal Theater was. But no, it's not like she's a quote unquote celebrity. But you know, they mentioned her. I don't know if they mentioned her by name. I didn't see the entire video. I actually saw the interview that she had on Fox. And once again, no, she's not a celebrity. She's just the director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center. They give events there. A few years ago, I was part of one of the events that they had for New Year's Eve. They taped it before New Year's Eve, so it ran on New Year's Eve on social media. So she's not well known, except she's not well known outside of Chicago. But that whole Usher video kind of pushed her into the limelight. Because when I saw the video, I was like, that young lady looks familiar. So, you know, she just happened to be there when he was performing. And I don't think Usher knew who she was. It's not as if the comment or statement harmed her reputation. Not really, but because Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson just happened to be quote unquote celebrities, and I don't know if they mentioned her by name. Um, if they just said the young lady and they showed the video, which was Jamalita Tillman, and you know, $20 million. I don't see that happening. $20 million. Um, at last that I checked, Shannon Sharp, of course, is out of a job at ESPN. So they were referring to her as auntie, and that's just it. But she took it and ran with it. So $20 million worth. Like I said, there'll probably be some new improvements over at the theater at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. Probably, patch up some stuff there. I'm just saying, but they refer to her as auntie and not by name. Like I said, they showed the video along with the interview that whomever the reporter was, and that's it. So, but once again, like you said, Barbara Jean, good luck with the lawsuit. I hope something becomes of that. So, good luck to her. And my camera's all fuzzy again. Ooh, oh, let's see now. Okay. So, once again, good luck to her. $20 million. That's a little far fetched. I don't know. Two in a row from the maestro. Barry Eugene Carter White. That is Love Serenade Part 1 right here on Bedtime Stories. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, thank you to Z Truth for calling in and giving his unbiased opinion about my my performance on Saturday. And once again, no shade to the DJ who took my place. He was on before I got there. He showed me, how to use the equipment and everything else. I said, I think I can figure it out. So I did. And he got on after I left. I thought there were going to be more DJs. He and I, and probably some more people later on. But we had a good time. Shout out to the all-class reunion of South Shore High School. Thank you so much, Brother Shannon, for having me on the ones and twos. He sent me a list of songs to play. I'm like, they're not going to want to hear The Hustle by Van McCoy. So I did what I did. And hopefully everyone had a good time. My sister, she said, that was too much house music. I said, well, we did graduate in 79 right before house music blew up. It was still disco then, or what the kids call deep house. So once again, we had a good time. Shout out to Brother Shannon. Thank you for having me out there. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys hopefully soon. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. From the album For Lovers Only, one of the greatest groups of all time, these are the Temptations. Mhm. So, Barbara Jean, in the video, did they mention Jimalita by name, or did they just say Auntie? Clean your lip. I know, right? I cleaned it a few weeks ago, and somehow, some way, it's still dirty. No matter what I do, I cleaned it. I used alcohol to clean it. I should have used like Windex or something. But it's probably time for a new camera. I've had this camera for I don't know how long. That's a little better. But I'll try another camera tomorrow. Until then, watch me all fuzzy. Let me try something. Let me try some enhancement. Oh no. Let me try in increasing the resolution on the camera. Maybe that'll help. Nah, that didn't do it. Enhanced skin appearance. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it's not going to let me do anything. Yeah, it's not going to let me do anything. It's going to be fuzzy the rest of the night. Yeah, it's not going to let me do anything. Yep, I'll just switch cameras. This one is an old camera. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's as good as they're going to get. Oh, thank you. Oh, my handsome face. Oh, bless your heart. Huh. You said don't make it weird. The Temptations, and This Is My Promise from the album Phoenix Rising. Right here on Bedtime Stories with the Peanut Butter Brother, Dr. Al Greer. We're going to go a little bit late on Biggs Radio tonight, but of course you can listen to us right now on WOSD Radio, DB Chicago, WRLN, which is a Ray Neal media station, WBOE, which is the best of everything. That's about it. Yeah, that's all of the stations. So we're going to take a break after this, but right now, the Stylistics, I'm stoned in love with you on Bedtime. Sandra, haven't seen you in years. So let me stop. I don't want to say nothing. You know, people listen to me, and it's like they hang on my every word. I remember back when I was with my first wife, the next day she would, what did you say last night? I heard you was talking about something. I'm like, oh Lord. So people get upset with me because I mentioned certain people. And I've noticed this. They listen to everything that I say. They hang on every word. You know, and then they say, you know, well, did you hear what your husband said last night? He was talking to some other girl, and you know, it all goes back to when I was at Kennedy King. When I was at Kennedy King, there was a young lady that used to listen to me every night religiously. I was only on one day a week, and I was on Sunday night. And she heard me mention someone's feet. The young lady's feet that I was talking about. Her name is Samada Ackland. Well, you know, I was joking around. I said, oh, she had the prettiest feet and this, that, and the other. And this lady called. She called the request line. I don't want to hear about nobody else's feet and this, that. She just went on and on. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, she just went on and on. And I was like, I was just, you know, making an observation about the young lady's feet. And they were going on and on about it. I'm like, what is going on here? You know. So to make a long story short, I had to put an order of protection against this young lady because I was talking about, Prince versus Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson's better than Prince. I'm like, oh my God. She took it real serious. I'm like, had to cut her off. The Stylistics and Stone in Love with You, right here on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Sandra. Thank you so much for checking in. I haven't seen her in a while. Ooh, it's been years and years and years. Last time I saw her, she was married. And I wasn't. Interesting. Interesting how things change. Yeah, I remember when she first got married. And of course, I was the DJ of her wedding reception and everything. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that later on. Once again, we're WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WRLN Radio, a radio media station, and WBOE, the best of everything. That, of course, is a Reggie Miles radio station. Oh, yeah. People, once again, they hang on my every word. Heard you talking about the girl's feet. Yeah, she had pretty feet. So I guess I can't say that. I don't know why I can't say that, but I know 23 years ago. But you all can get mad if you want to, but Sandra has pretty feet. So I'm just going to put it out there. So you all can send me letters. You can send hate mail, hate emails, hate text messages. Say what you want to say. It is what it is. Q's, Jewel X Q's Lounge, which is, of course, in Gary, Indiana. I'll be there soon. I'm going to be their resident DJ, I hope. Anyway, Sandra said you can say whatever you want to say. Well, yeah. But, I don't want to insult anyone. It's like, ooh, send me a picture of your feet. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I like women who take care of their feet. If they take care of their feet, everything else is, is good. I've had young ladies to send me pictures of their feet and other parts of their body, but I prefer the feet. Thank you very much. Inbox me your feet. I know it sounds weird, but some men like booties, some men like breasts. I'm a foot man myself. Ask anybody. But that's just it. Like I said, don't send me any threatening emails and all of that stuff, especially if you got jacked up feet. Just don't do it. Here's the first of two in a row. But yeah, people get twisted out of sorts about comments that I make. It's like, ooh, she had some, she had some hooters on her, and they get angry. Right, Barbara Jean, they get like what they say, twisted out of joint. You know, what'd you say about her feet? And the young lady in question, you know, Hammer Time. How many people remember the movie Boomerang? Everybody, with Eddie Murphy, and the scene where he pulls back the covers to show Sunshine's feet, and they were like, he was like, ooh. Well, you know, don't be angry because I looked at somebody else's feet. You know, it is what it is. You know, I like what I like. Like I said, men like, you know, we look at pictures all the time. I'm on this what is it? For men only or whatever. And they send pictures all the time of women, you know, clothed and unclothed, and you know, I think, you know, it's nothing sexual. I think that the woman's body is a work of art, especially the black women. Now, no shade on the white women, no shade on the Hispanics, but I like my sisters. I love my sisters, and I like, you know, the way they're shaped and everything else. You know, I pretend, yeah, hammer toe, like yeah, like, you know, toes looked like they were throwing up gang signs, and you know, missing toenails, and that whole thing. You know, once again, don't get upset, but that's just me. It's what I like on a woman. And once again, if the woman takes care of her feet and her hands, then the rest of her is well taken care of. You know, and like I've always said, you know, I like full-figured women. You know, if you ain't at least 180, you ain't no lady. You know, C's and D's, no A's and B's, please. You know, I like them full-figured, and I like them, you know, and that's just it. You know, I you know, I check the feet. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to get scratched up in the bed. I just don't. You know, I don't want to get. Don't be mad. Don't be laughing at me. But you know, I like them thick. I ain't gonna lie. I like them thick. Sandra can tell you, I like them thick. Her her maid of honor was thick, you know. And I remember her hooking me up with her. I'm like, you do know I like, you know, healthy women. And she said, yeah. She said, well, get over here fast. Get over to my house fast. I'm like, okay. So, but yes, I like, you know, both of my wives were full figured. They were. And they both had pretty feet. And you know, and hands and everything. They had the cutest little hands. That's what I like. You know, most guys, they'll tell you what they like and what they don't like. And I know all seven. I just, once again, don't hate me. But I remember there was this lady who used to call the radio station. I'm not going to say her name. We'll just say she went by, first name went by Mama. Well, Mama, I don't know how we got on the subject, but we were talking about men and their fetishes. She didn't know what a fetish was. So I broke it down to her. I said a fetish is what guys look at or look for in a woman. She might have the prettiest smile, the prettiest eyes, face, everything. But when you get down past her ankles and it looked like she's walking on the other side of her feet, and I asked some women, I said, did you play sports in high school? Some of them say, no. I said, no wonder. You never wore shoes that were too tight. Wear gym shoes all the time. Bi-weekly pedicures and all of that stuff. That's what I like. That's just me. So inbox me your feed. General from the Stylistics. That is mine, all mine, right here. Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind. I don't know how we got on this subject about me and feet. I guess Sanders over there cracking up talking about feet. There's a line in one of the songs by the Whispers. That song was actually Walter and Scotty, and it's from their album My Brother's Keeper. And there's a line in the song that says, I bet she's got the best, the best looking feet that I've ever seen. I'm going to play that song. I want to know your name. Everybody has a thing that they like on a woman. Me, I like feet. It's Walter and Scotty. Now listen for the part where he says the best looking feet I've ever seen. Well, they were short, so they could only see their feet, right? It's Walter and Scotty, and I want to know your name on Bedtime Stories. Ooh, I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail. A whole lot of hate mail. Yes, foot fetish. Yes. Don't hate me. Don't judge me. So I guess tomorrow when I go to my inbox on Facebook, I'll have a bunch of pictures of feet. I'm like, okay. we had a contest once. This is when Boys to Men were in town a few years ago, and they just come out with this new album where they made a whole contest out of it. And the contest was, you know, it was a pretty feet contest. So it was me and one other DJ, and that was Sam Stowe. So we were the two people there, and then we kind of sort of had to judge who had the, you know. So these young ladies looked like they had just, you know, gotten out of the chair and had their feet done. They were all just, feet were shining. I mean, oiled down, everything. And it was like, I couldn't believe it, you know. See, I'm already getting foot pictures. Good Lord. Already. Oh, no. Mm-mm. What you said, Barbara Jean, no judgment. Mm-mm. But thank you, Barbara Jean, for not judging me, because I like, you know, I mean, I like everything else, especially I remember back in the day when I was working at this club. Um, what was it? The Sexy Sex, I think it was. And there was a yeah. Don't, I mean, please don't judge me. Don't judge me. You like what you like. Exactly. Cat got your tongue. You went silent. I know, right? I didn't want to say any more because, some people, especially females, they get insulted. I mean, insulted because, because I mentioned feet. You know, I'm like, why are you angry? They get angry. I mean, like, to the point where they want to jump me. But what's wrong with my feet? Sorry. Don't hate me. I mean, to the point where they're just angry. I'm like, don't be angry. You know, there's a nail salon on every block, just like there's a church on every block. Stop in and get your feet done. If your feet are that big or big, or if they're that bad, I mean, they have surgery to correct that. You know, but like Barbara Jean said, nobody should be, judging me on what I like. At least I'm honest. So you're not going to date me because my feet are jacked up? I don't know. Depending on how jacked up they are. I'm just saying. You know, I hate to say it, but yeah, that's all a part of the attraction. That's all a part of it. It's like, man, did you see her? She had a big old booty. I'm like, okay. Guys like what guys like, and that's it. We like what we like. The Intruders and their version which is the original. I Want to Know Your Name, before that, Walter and Scotty and their version of I Want to Know Your Name, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Greer. I think I've opened a whole can of worms because young ladies who are listening to me on Facebook right now are sending me pictures of their feet. I'm like, okay. Yes, I have a foot fetish, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, I should say. Gentlemen, please don't send me any pictures of your feet. You know, I'm like Purvis fan. I don't want no men's calling me, and I sure as hell don't want them sending me pictures of their feet. Unless you're sending me pictures of your girlfriend's feet. Just don't get caught. Here's the first of two in a row from Rocky Robbins. This is You and Me on Bedtime Stories. And you're right, Barbara Jean. Once again, nobody should be judging me as to what I like. You know, shouldn't don't judge me. Yeah, but when I was, I'm trying to remember as far back as when I was younger, I used to admire women who had long nails, who kept their nails, you know, done. Not long, like, like Glodine long, but, a nice length. I just thought that was just, so attractive, you know. And that's just me. Yeah. So, any fellas that, disagree with me, I understand that ain't your thing. That's not what you like. And that's cool, Like when I was younger, um, all of the all the guys like the little skinny women, the light skin, long hair, that whole thing. And I ain't gonna lie, I like that too. I did. But I found that there was a whole bunch, there was a whole other category out there of women who were, how can I say it? They were untapped. They like the long hair, they like the light skin, almost, you know, and those women just knew that they knew they were fine to other guys. And so, I try to shoot my game to them as well, but I found that I wasn't their type. So that's when I started dating the big girls. And they seemed to like me better than they liked the other guys that were chasing after the light skinned girls who were only about $1.05. So so once again, we like what we like. And that's it. We like what we like. We enjoy looking at you all. Nicely manicured fingernails look nice. Some nails look ridiculously fake. Sharp and pointed nails look odd, like weapons. I agree. I totally agree. I think they should be a nice length, whether they be yours or, overlays. But as long as they look, you know, long as they look kept, if that makes any sense. Some ladies get the pointed ones, the coffin ones, like my niece. She was here a few weeks ago, and she had them pointed, and she said, "I did them myself." I'm like, "Okay." So the younger ladies like the pointed one. So I don't care for the coffin nail. You know, I'm like coffin. Yeah. But once again, long as they look presentable, if that makes any sense. I was I go to this place right up the street on 63rd and Union, and I was in there one day and I was getting a pedicure. And every now and then I'd look over to see what's going on the other side. This lady had no toenails. They were putting toenails on her. I was like, oh my goodness. So what they do is they take the fingernails, the false fingernails, cut them down, shape them and everything else, and then they look like the girl has toenails. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you not have, and that's years of not taking care of your feet. Wearing gym shoes all the time, wearing too tight shoes all the time. You know, it's like they feel like that's not important. They go get their hair done. They go get the eyelashes. That's another thing. when the eyelashes are too long. When you're like, you look like Miss Piggy with the eyelashes. You know. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Amazon sells fake toenails. Eh, I the natural, the better. Like if you don't have long eyelashes and you get them a little bit longer than your normal lashes are, then I can see that. But if they're like, you know, like if you have to tape your eyes close to go to sleep, it's just. But this young lady I used to work with, she would get the lead press on nails because the other one would ruin her nail bed. So she would end up snatching them off, but she'd get the press on nails, which look natural, you know. 2 in a row from Rocky Robbins. That is Be Ever Wonderful, originally done by Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Story. 22 minutes away from foreplay. Barbara Jean just said, Amazon sells fake toenails. Fake toenails. I wonder what that looks like. Well, probably look like regular toenails, but they're fake. I'm like, oh God. And the eyelashes. It's like if the eyelashes are too long and you look like one of the Muppets, it's like, okay, cut them down just a little bit. The more natural, the better. Barbara Jean said, I laugh at anyone stating that they keep it real. Right. And they talk about us all the time. They say guys lie all the time. Like, okay, some of you ladies lie too. Your eyelashes aren't that long, your nails aren't that long, your feet don't look like that. They've had breast enhancements, what's it, BBL, Brazilian butt lifts, and everything else. The more natural, the better. If you've got a few stretch marks and what they call a little cottage cheese, that's okay because that's natural. And, we could work with that. But if it looks like you got 2 basketballs up under your dress, that just doesn't. Fake hair, fake nails, fake eyelashes, padded bras. Padded bras are okay. Sometimes they hide what you don't want to show, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Because some women, they have the areolas are like just anyway. Here's Robert Winters. When will my love be right? On Bedtime Story. Keeping it real. You can't keep it real when everything is fake. Ah. You know what I'm talking about, Barbara Jean. It's like they cover most of the breasts. It's like, you have the nipples and then you have the areolas. It's like most guys just say, well, she had big nipples. But it'd be like more than, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. We all adults here. Yeah, we're all adults. I know. Yeah. I mean, just, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to, bite my tongue about anything. We're all adults here. And I hope I'm not offending anyone. You know. I just hope I'm not offending anyone. I'll be around. Magic man. There was. Oh, well, I'm glad you're not offended. Thank you. I was watching some show. Um, What was the name of the show? I see you too, Barbara Jean. It was one of those shows where, they were having makeovers, surgery, if you will. And this lady didn't like, one of her breasts hung lower than the other one. Another one had, what was it? I mean, they just had imperfections that they wanted corrected. And, they always blur it so you can't see, they said show before and after, but it's like you can't tell because they always blur it for TV. My thing is, okay, why are you blurring it? If you're going to show it, just show it. It's cable. I wonder whatever happened to Robert Winters. Robert Winters and Fall, that is Magic Man. Originally done by Walter Jackson, right? Bedtime Story. Just about 12 minutes away from Foreplay. Who are we going to do in Foreplay tonight? I don't know either. Got any ideas? Hit me up on Facebook, all right? And I'll be sure to give you credit. By the way, if I'm not mentioning Kiki Wyatt's show on Saturday, it is sold out. So if you're not contacted about your tickets, they ran out. All right. Here's Jermaine. Paradise in Your Eyes on Bedtime Story. That's the one, Botched. I watched Botched, and they were, and some of them had breast augmentations, and either they wanted to take them down or go up. And the surgeons would always suggest that they not go up any further, from whatever cc's to, And the thing is, some women, not all, they're not satisfied with what they have. And I can understand that. Some guys, they have penile implants because of what they're lacking. I'm like, okay. And most of the time it's the women getting getting them right. We weren't born that way. We have one leg that's bigger, one hand that's different, one foot might be a half an inch bigger, the toe next to the big toe is longer than the big toe, all these imperfections that we have. And, they have, because there was this one lady, she was on her big toe. it looked like two thumbs together. So they had to reduce it because they said at one point she was a twin. So she got two big toes on one foot. So they had to, kind of, yeah, narrow it down. So as a breast cancer, so I opted for implants, and that should be the only time that you would be um, that concerned. Um, how can I put it? Some women, that's their, um, like your hair is your crowning glory. You know, you know, breasts and butts and hips and everything else. That's their crowning glory. That's what they, you know, that's what black women are known for. For their ampleness. You know, so there was a friend of mine and a young lady that I worked with a few years ago. This was back in I want to say the 80s. Um, whew, she had breast surgery, cancer. So she had, and then she didn't have, and so she would put on a bra, and then she would put the bag. It was like instead of putting it inside of her, it was a saline bag, and she would put it in her bra, so it looked like she, but she let me see it, and I was like, she said, "Does this bother you?" And she just stood there like, and I was like, "No, it didn't bother me at all." Um, it didn't bother me because I knew that, she had it. She had the surgery to save her life. Unfortunately, her cancer came back, and it took her out, and she looked like when she died, she was like in her, I want to say late 30s, early 40s. She looked like she was in her 80s when she died. That cancer just came back and just, you know, and she was just, she was beautiful. She was beautiful. And to this day, I still miss her. She was a coworker of mine. Actually, she was my boss. And, every now and then I think about her, and I just have to smile because she was a trooper. You know, she was a trooper. So shout out to Charlene Bozeman. She was she was a sweetheart. She was a sweetheart. And I miss her. Miss her to this day. Yeah. Charlene Bozeman, Kennard. Kennard was her married name. And her husband, he couldn't deal with the fact that, so his loss. And of course, our loss, because she was a beautiful soul. She was my buddy. Jermaine Jackson and Castles of Sand, right here on Bedtime Stories. Just ahead of foreplay. Excuse me, foreplay. Shout out to Ernest Leonard of 3E's. He does video. He does all kinds of photography. So hit him up. He's on Facebook. Also to Candace, to Barbara Jean, Ken Watlington, Michael R. Green, aka DJ Stanton, and of course Jimmy Williams, the T-shirt man. Appreciate you all being on Facebook and all of you all listening on Biggs Radio, WRLN, WBOE, and of course on WOSD Radio. Special shout out going out to Kimberly Patterson, aka K-Pat.
And Fan 2 Production present The Music Odyssey with Fresh, featuring Samana Ackland, daughter of the late great Grammy-nominated Miss Barbara Ackland. The Grand Ballroom, 6351 South Cottage Grove, hosted by comedian Dane Williams, co-hosted by Binky, with special guest Phil Davis, lead singer of the group Public Announcement, and music by Dr. Al Greer. There'll be door raffle winnings up to $300 for first, second, and third prizes. Doors open at 7, showtime at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets today. Go to freshtheband.com or call 877-919-7257. Advance tickets are $50. VIP tickets are $65. Tickets can be purchased at the door for $55. $70 for VIP. It's The Music Odyssey, Friday, September 5th with Fresh, featuring Samana Ackland, R&B royalty at the Grand Ballroom, 6351 South Cottage Grove. This is a JP production and Fan 2.
Let's see if we can sell that one out. We are WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WCHI Biggs Radio Chicago. Notice my voice went up and I said Biggs Radio Chicago. Also WRLN, a radio media station, and WBOE, the best of everything. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. It's time for foreplay. This group was formed in Harlem, New York back in 1964. They were originally known as the Poets. Donald McPherson, Luther Simmons, and Panama-born Tony Sylvester made up the original group. Unfortunately, Donald McPherson made his departure. Well, he passed due to leukemia at a young age, and they talked about ending the group there, and then Cuba Gooding Sr. came, and the rest was history. Cuba, of course, had filled in on tour during Donald McPherson's brief illness, and they had hits before Everybody Plays the Fool, before Cuba Gooding got there, but they really hit their stride when Cuba got there. But tonight, we pay tribute to the main ingredient. They no longer perform because all the original members have passed. Of course, they were replaced by others, but man, there's nothing like that original group with Donald McPherson. Here's a song that was on one of their albums. I think this was on Euphrates River or Aphrodisiac, one of those. Name of the song is called Girl Blue, from the main ingredient inside foreplay. Someone sent me a request for $500 with Zelle. I'm like, are you sending me $500 or are you requesting $500 from me? Because if you are, you're $500 from me. You're lucky to get $5 out of it. $500. That is funny. I saw it as a necessary surgery. Otherwise, there's no. I would have had implants. And you know, some women afterwards, like Christina Applegate, you know, from Married with Children. She had both of them because it ran in her family. So, um, you know, she had the implants done. One of my cousins that I used to work with at VON, she had breast implants. You know, because she, you know, I was like, wow, wow, cuz. I didn't know that. Mhm. Mm. But women who, get breast implants, um, it's because they want to look a certain way, you know.
With bedtime stories.
Some women, they do it for cosmetic reasons. I remember my first wife having um, stomach reduction, a tummy tuck, as they call it. So she had a tummy tuck, and I'm like, wait a minute, you had two kids? 'Cause I saw pictures of her, and she looked so, you know, so she told me about the surgery and everything else, and they didn't want to pay for it, and this, that, and the other, and of course they ended up, paying for it because it wasn't a necessity; it was a cosmetic thing. So, but her being healthy, you know, once she got her tummy tuck, her her breasts look even bigger. But anyway, I saw the older pictures of her. I'm like, oh wow. But some women feel it's necessary to look a certain way, so therefore they opt for it. You know, and it's interesting because when you get to a certain age, say in your 70s or whatever, and you still look like Dolly Parton, it's like, oh my goodness, well, okay. 70-year-old lady with a rack like a 20-year-old. It's like, like, ooh, okay. All right, Granny, you might yeah, you might get it. Was it your former employer? No, it was not her. Um, no, actually, it was my. I found out this young lady I was working with was my cousin. Her name is Lori, and I found out that Lori and I, you know, were related. So, but no, not my employer. My former employee, you know, fellow employee, I should say. Yeah. But happy birthday to Melody Span Cooper. Yeah. Wrapping up foreplay on the main ingredient. I'm so proud, originally done by The Impressions, right here on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And once again, if you're trying to get tickets to see Kiki Wyatt and Gerald Damian this weekend, they are all gone. Thank you. I'm like, I only heard commercials. Well, they were giving them away. They were giving tickets away on B103, I heard. But yeah. But I guess the combination of the two stations, ours and theirs, kind of helped push the sales of the tickets. Yeah. But hey, congratulations to Wesley United Methodist Church. I will see you guys on Saturday. And for those of you who won tickets here, they will be notifying you. If they don't, then that means that they ran out of tickets. But people were sending me names, just as soon as they heard Gerald Damian on last week. So yeah, that's when the tickets flew out the window. Thank goodness. Anyway, shout out to Lady Lynn Yolanda. Thank you for checking in to Bedtime Stories right here on these fine radio stations. Here's Alexander O'Neill. If you were here tonight, boy, oh boy. Only listen to Rufus. Yep, Lori at WVON. Yes, yes. So you don't listen to DL Hughley? Hughley. He said DL stuff. I tried to listen to him this morning too. I really did. I tried to listen to him. I really tried. When I say I tried to listen, I'm like, okay, what am I listening to? Hmm. I was just trying to figure out what am I listening to? Is this a talk show with music or is this a music show with talk in it? Which one? I just couldn't figure it out. Excuse me, I couldn't figure it out. What type of show is this? You know, it just seemed like it was a whole bunch of, opinions. You know, funeral from Alexander O'Neill for KP is crying overtime from the album Hearsay right here on Bedtime Story. That's right, I said the album. And I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, I had Sony Walkman. It was red, and I kept tearing the headphones up on it. The headphones were just, they give you those little bitty ones. I said, I know I can do better than this. So I got some real headphones plugged in. And I would listen to Alexander O'Neill's Hearsay album all the way to work. Yeah. I had to keep batteries everywhere. But that was one of my favorites from Alexander O'Neal. That was the one with Sunshine, Never Knew Love Like This with Sherelle. Of course, Fake was on there. And what was it? How do I say I love you? Anyway, you know that. I mean, that whole album. You just put that tape in, and it's just funky all the way through. The first side, and then the second side. Of course, they slowed down. You know, crying over time. Uh, when the party's over. I mean, that whole CD tape was a jam. Anyway, happy birthday to our president, Barack Hussein Obama. Happy birthday to him. Also to my former boss, Melody Span Cooper. Happy birthday to her. And yeah, happy birthday to everybody who's having a birthday today. I didn't want to leave anybody out. And yeah, happy birthday, sis. Here's Jeffrey Osborne. I'm only human. Yeah, I'm born to make mistakes. Your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, and this is Bedtime. You back? Would you say you had to step outside? I know that's right. Oh, really? Okay.
Bedtime is just like that with the original peanut butter brunch. Now we're at the Bedtime store on WSC.
So if I can ask, what area are you in where they was shooting it up? I'm in Inglewood, and it's unusually quiet tonight. Unusually quiet. Thank you. produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That is the Human League. And I'm only human. At that time, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, everything that they touched turned to gold. They were handed this group, the Human League, who were only known for that one song, Don't You Want Me, Baby? So when they came to Minneapolis, it was like culture shock. And, they said, okay, well, who's the keyboard player? Who's the musicians in the group? And they looked at each other like, you guys, you're the musicians. And they crafted that beautiful song, I'm Only Human. And it sounds almost robotic when you hear it. So it's kind of, a double-sided coin, I guess. I'm only human, but it sounds like RoboCop playing drums. Anyway, it is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Speaking of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they were responsible, I guess, for Janet Jackson's career because they penned so many great songs for Janet. It was almost as if they were, how can I put it, tailor-made to her voice. She has a limited singing voice, but the songs that they gave her, so beautiful. So beautiful. Here's Come Back to Me from Janet, produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis here on Bedtime. Sherry, what's going on? Love you, sweetheart. Hello, Sherry. I love you more. I love you more. I love you. I love you. You mm, mm. I didn't play no Isley Brothers tonight. What's wrong with me? Oh, here's some Isley Brothers, some Harry Belafonte. I'm sorry, I'm channeling John Johnson, John H. Johnson. When I first met him, it was not a, how can I put it? It wasn't a pleasant meeting. I'll say this: it was not a pleasant meeting. Um, he, how can I put it? First of all, he doesn't shake or didn't shake the employees' hands for some strange reason. They were beneath him. So he didn't shake hands with them. So I worked for WJPC, the FM station, which is now 106.3. And I extended my hand to shake his hand. He just looked at me like I had something on it. And his idea of Dusty's was different than mine. And he said, I don't hear no Sarah Vaughan. I don't hear no Billy Eckstein. I said, sir, we're not playing those type of Dustys. We're not playing, Dustys from the 50s. We're playing 60s on up, not 50s on back, And he kept naming names. He was talking to his daughter, Linda. I don't hear no Billy Eckstein. I don't hear no Sarah Vaughan. Linda, is the Isley Brothers black? I was like, oh my. I was how can I put it? Outdone. I was like, I couldn't believe that he didn't know about the Isley Brothers. He liked the music that he liked, and I understood that. So I was like, my boss, who was the general manager of the radio station, he said, that's why the station's no longer here at 820 South Michigan. I was like, oh, okay. Damn it, Janet. Janet still looks like she's like in her 20s. I don't know what she's taking, drinking. I'm sure she's had a little work done. Not a lot because, black don't crack. But she still, looks like she did back in the 80s and early 90s. She still got that cute look. Recently, when the Jacksons were performing, she walked out on stage and they wanted her to sing. They just brought her out and said, this is our little sister Janet and this, that, and the other. They're like, sing, Janet. Janet was like, this ain't my concert. Y'all didn't pay to come see me. Y'all came to see Randy and Jackie and Marlon. Y'all didn't come to see me. That was her attitude. But she is so sweet. I don't know if you saw the documentary. There was a mural that was in Gary, Indiana, of the Jackson 5. And it was just so beautiful. And she went past it. She said, oh, look. And then Michael's looking, everybody else is looking up. Michael's looking down at everybody like, I see y'all. And after that, they tore the mural down. But due to a certain artist, and I don't have his name, they put it right back up. And this time they included Randy in it. And it was so beautiful. I can't wait to see it in person. Janet Jackson and 70s Love Groove right here on Bedtime Story. As we wind down on this Monday evening, 4th of August. Where did the time go? Here's All in My Lover's Eye from the Isley Brothers on Bedtime Story. They say it in a whisper. Really mean to me.
And if you're not there,
Just with it.
I'll truly know my name. You're weak or the other way. And just to prove, I mean to really prove, my love is true. I'll come down there just to be.
With your bad self. One of my mentors, Frankie Crocker, My Confession of Love, with the moments in the background. That's going to do it for me, Al Greer. Thank you so much for staying. Sherry Yvette with his banks, Barbara Jean, my sister Angie, everybody from South Shore. I appreciate you guys. I will see you next year. Yes. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Monique. And that's it. Peace out. Good night. I'm out. I'm on dog sitting duty tomorrow.